Welcome to the 10-Minute Mind Shift Podcast. I'm your host, Janet Cagle, certified life coach, weight loss coach, and lover of all things related to upleveling my life and yours. My goal is to help you get one step closer to your goal, whatever it is. My goal is not to keep you wrapped up in self-help all day, just 10 minutes. And who doesn't have 10 minutes, right? Welcome back, friends, and welcome. It is 2024, and this is episode number 122. In this episode, we are going to jump right into goal setting. It's my favorite time of year, and today I'm going to help you understand the difference between something that you may be fantasizing about and a goal, and why it's so important to know and understand the difference. Every year about this time, many of us think about goal setting and intentions for the year. We make some New Year's resolutions, and some of us really dive into the art and the science of goal setting and goal getting. Whatever it looks like for you, most of us do something along those lines, both personally, and if you're still working like me, we do this in our careers at work as well. We are in the process of that as we speak. Whatever you call it, it is a very important ritual and practice for us as humans. Without it, we can feel like we are without a compass or a rudder. It's like building a house without a blueprint. Eric Barker describes it as watching toddlers play soccer. It's cute, but no one knows where to go or what to do. There's a lot of bumping into each other and maybe a little crying and frustration, and then, by pure luck, one of them kicks the ball in the right direction. For some of us, it can be hard to sit down with ourselves and figure out exactly what we want to create this year and who we want to become. And if we're being honest, it's easier to sit around and fantasize about the result. I teach a lot about believing in your future self and becoming the person who can create the result, and to set goals from a place of I am and I have. So how is that different than fantasy? Here is how you can tell the difference. When you fantasize about a result, your brain has taken the evolution of you out of the equation. Without the chief thought officer and chief emotions officer, there is nothing driving the action. And so the result is that you create more fantasy and no results ever materialize. Maybe you can think of a few things in your life that you thought were goals, but they never seem to materialize. Really dig into that. When you are in fantasy mode, you tend to focus on how much better your life will be if, and just fill in the blank. If you are 20 pounds lighter, find the man, land the job. Fantasy does not have you on the journey to creating the human that can create the result. You can tell if you are in fantasy mode because your brain is not throwing you objections. If your brain isn't throwing a fit and telling you this is impossible, you are not goal setting, you are fantasizing, and your brain knows it. Fantasizing about how great your life will be when you hit the number on the scale does not involve what work will be required to manage your brain, make different choices. It does not have you learning and practicing delayed gratification, living in more awareness and consciousness of what you consume. And anytime you are only focused on the outcome and not the journey, you are for sure operating in fantasy. Fantasy also has us in a place where we think we deserve the thing just because we want the thing. And it doesn't work that way. No one gets what they want just because they want it. They get it because of who they become. I talk to people every day who think they are entitled to a promotion or a big career move. When I ask them what steps they have taken to become a match for the promotion, it's crickets. Or better yet, they say things like, I'm just ready for it. I'm ready for a change. I deserve it. And I go, huh? All right, so before I go on, let me be clear. I'm not saying that fantasizing for fun isn't good to do occasionally. We all have those thoughts and visions that make us feel good about thinking something. It's probably not going to evolve past a vision. I have an example of one for me. I fantasize about being a graceful and elegant dancer or a figure skater, and when I think about it, I love the way it makes me feel to see in my mind how I would look skating across the ice or dancing across a ballroom floor. But just thinking about it does not motivate me to take any action towards that vision. It's fantasy. It isn't fantasy because it couldn't be true. It's fantasy because I have zero desire to do the work on the journey to create the human who could create the result. Does that make sense? So for me, it's a fantasy, while the same vision could actually be someone else's goal and dogged pursuit. Does that make sense? So what is the risk of not understanding the difference between a goal and fantasy? Fantasizing too much can lead to cognitive distortion. Cognitive distortion happens when someone develops an inaccurate view of reality. The line in your mind separating possibility and impossibility starts to deteriorate. Combining the two is unhealthy because it influences you to pursue nothing. Fantasizing also takes you away from the present moment and fuels confirmation bias. Confirmation bias is when you favor information that supports your existing beliefs and ignores conflicting information. While fantasizing, you will only seek ideas that would keep your fantasy alive. And having fantasies is normal. Don't get me wrong. Just realize it's a fantasy so you don't become consumed by it. It is not a goal. So, what about visualization, you say? Visualizing has one clear difference from fantasizing. Visualization is believing in an idea that you will actively pursue and make true. This is a technique commonly associated with goals. People imagine their goals and the steps that they will take to accomplish them. Visualizing keeps you in reality, whereas fantasizing removes you from it. Now, let me say this. Visualization is a great tool and a great place to start, but it requires action as well at some point. And I get asked this question a lot. Why are having goals so important? Let me answer that here super quick. When you have a true goal versus fantasy, your brain will prioritize accordingly. Decision making becomes clear and aligned with your goals. Experiencing milestones along the way creates confidence and becomes a source of motivation for your brain. Your focus improves and you stay grounded in day-to-day activities that support your goal. Fantasy will not do this for you. When you are approaching something that you want from a place of fantasy, it will not energize you. It doesn't have to. It's ego-based, and your ego is perfectly happy sitting here just thinking about it. When you are approaching something from a place of inviting, creating, accomplishing, and bringing it into reality, you will feel a full range of emotions to include fear, excitement, curiosity, willingness, gratitude, just to name a few. My goal this year has everything to do with what I want to accomplish in Western dressage, but that goal fuels all other areas of my life. This one goal will help me outline my entire year and help me build the strategy and the micro goals that will support the big goal. It's like drawing up a blueprint to work from for the entire year. The blueprint will help me establish my ride schedule, my eating plan for energy, my fitness goals, and the fitness goals for Dutch. It helps create a training schedule for both of us. The secret to making your fantasy reality is to visualize the journey. Visualize the action steps, the thoughts that will inspire the productive and creative action required. Visualize it all. You can do it if you want, but you don't have to if you don't want to. And that's okay too. Just know that it's not a goal. It's fantasy. I can't be upset that I'm not an ice skater or a ballroom dancer when all I have done is sit around and fantasize about it. To bring that into reality requires of me that I visualize the journey, but the truth is the journey is not for me, and to fantasize about it steals the energy source that is required for the journey that I do want to experience. Fantasy can be an energy thief and a thief of your dreams if you don't bring awareness to it and manage it. All right, my friends, I hope this was helpful and useful to you, and if you loved it, hit me with some stars so others can benefit. That is what I had for you this week, and now go have the best day ever. That's a wrap. I hope that you were able to experience a mind shift of your own today. Listen, if you love this podcast, you should totally check out my Life by Design 6-week boot camp. It's a work at your own pace workshop and something that you can do over and over and over again to uplevel your results and get ready for a transformation at the speed of life.